Hello, 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 my friends. Welcome into another fun show, SBG News. And I got to remember the views. The most important part of the whole program is the views. I know you guys come here for our opinions, and we want to find out what's going on. I got to tell you something. There is a lot of people, or there are a lot of people, I should say, reaching out and saying, "Hey, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot going on." Seems like we're challenged and we're heading really quickly to November and things are going to be the same as they have been all along. So I brought in a guest here. I want to ask him the question and see what his response is. Mike, is anything at all going on out there?
The last 3 years, we've worked over 300,000 people. We've worked tirelessly every single day to get to secure our election platforms. I flew into Illinois yesterday. I'm in Illinois right now. I'm heading to the Capitol, but we had two great events in Chicago yesterday, and we're going across the country. What we're doing, if you go to lindellplan.com, we're going from the ground up. Every single county in the country we're approaching to go to paper ballots, hand counted. And you say, well, we don't have time. We have plenty of time. We have over 250 counties committed to that. We have lawyers and stuff going to legislatures, working on law changes to change back to the before all these crooked Secretary of States changed the laws illegally. And so we're working at all levels, even the highest level. We have something really big coming up at the Supreme Court, and we'll be talking about that as this week unfolds. We're doing everything you can imagine, everything possible. We need more people to get involved, absolutely. I have a new Mike Lindell Courage app out there. You go to the App Store, you get this Courage app. You can canvass your own neighborhood. You can get people that haven't voted in past elections. You can talk to them, get them engaged. I worked with Turning Point on this app, and they do the same things. All the stuff that people find in this country, the deviations and the that doesn't make sense. We've got things going horizontally, vertically, everything across this country. We're doing everything we can to get these elections secure enough so we get back our real president, Donald Trump. And then once he gets in, the first thing he's going to do is clean up our election platforms, the voter rolls, same-day voting, paper ballots, hand-counted, all these things that we've got to get to. Our elections are deemed critical infrastructure, and we've got to get there. We've got to treat them as such. Other countries do, France, Germany, the Netherlands, now Argentina, Taiwan. They treat their elections like they're sacred, which they are. Everything comes from a manifesto.
We certainly will. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Now let me bring in my true co-host, Mr. Herms. How are you today, Mr. Herms? Muted as always. Okay, nothing more to say. That mute button is something else, I tell you.
I'm just joking. Here I am.
I know.
Wonder if we fooled anybody else out there. So I thought you replaced me for a second.
I had a new co-host for a moment there.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, well, good. Time for me to go take a nap.
I really wanted to know to answer that question because I know a lot of people are asking. Nothing's changed, nothing's happening, and there's an example of a lot of things happening. This guy is literally put his fortune on the line. Apparently, he's 10 million in debt right now. He spent all of his own money doing what he's doing, and he's traveling around the country. And they're making progress. It's slow progress because it's really an uphill battle. But there is a battle, and he said the key words, Lewis. And we've been saying we all need to get involved. We can't just sit on the sidelines here.
No, we can't. We can't. So when people say nothing's happening, the question is, what's the definition of nothing?
Good.
Right? Because clearly something's happening. A lot's happening. It may not be what they want. What they want to see is public hangings, maybe. I don't know. I don't think we're there yet. And what they may want to see is the arrests of certain figures. I get it. But if that's sometimes I think the definition of nothing or something is very, very myopic. This is a big war that we're in, right? And I still contend. And I'm the gray hat, black hat guy, but I'm still contending that when the first big, huge arrest goes down, everything can go south. Be careful what you ask for, because the cabal, I'm sure, has some still has weapons of mass destruction hiding. You know they have to have at least one or two, and they're probably using it as leverage for a negotiation ploy. As soon as there's one big, huge arrest, that may be the one that they just said, okay, release the dogs. All the illegals come over. Go do what you're being paid for. Antifa, go. Weapons, go. Weather machines, go. You know what I mean? So be very careful of being so impatient with having something big happening. I believe it's the reverse frog in the pot on purpose, because just like they acclimated us to get us thinking everything's okay when it wasn't, I believe we have to kind of acclimate people to get us out of it at the same time. So they're slowly disclosing because it's just too much to swallow. And it's huge. I mean, I can't even believe today what I thought 4 years ago. Because now I know it's all spell casting.
Yep.
I know there's a bunch of demons and it's spell casting, and there's actually witches. If somebody said that to me 4 years ago, I'd say, get the F out of here. But the more I study and the more I study, it's so obvious right now. So yeah, it's a whole nother level, folks. Be careful what you ask for.
And also remember that it's not just the United States. We're myopic in just seeing it as this country. It is global.
Oh, I agree.
You know, every country's got border issues. Every country that you look at has got, now we're seeing pushback, in Poland, among other countries as well. The farmers are kind of leading the way there, and the battle is intense. If you saw what was happening in Poland today, the police are fighting back now, and they're arresting the farmers. It's not easy, but it needs to be done.
And that's a test, by the way. So what the police are doing is they're testing to see how they react. So I feel sorry for the police on the front line there, by the way.
Yeah.
Because they're guinea pigs on this. So they're throwing them out there and they say, okay, let's test drive this. And then based on the reaction is how they're going to react.
Yep.
Interesting enough, there's a story that I think that needs to be told very soon. And I believe the German economy is going to collapse. And very soon.
Oh, tell us more, because that I'm interested in hearing this.
Yeah, and here's what's interesting is, after the European Union was formed, right, it was virtually impossible for any economy to collapse unless they all collapsed, because that's the way they tied themselves together. Well, with Brexit and Great Britain pulling out and some other changes that have been made, plus the major influx of illegals into Germany, it's created such a disruptive force, and the immigrants that are in there are now a massive drain on the system, and they're not participating financially, and they're not participating even in jobs. And Germany's economy is now almost isolating itself from the European Union because they don't know how to get through this. And it's taken a huge dump. And I think we should pay attention to this, because I really believe when the German economy goes, let's see how the European Union tries to bail them out. I don't think they can. It's not Greece. It's a massive, massive deal over there. So I'm very, very curious, and I believe you'll see rioting in the streets, unfortunately, because all those illegals will come out and they'll cause even more havoc than they've already caused. So it is a story that I think we should start looking into, because I'm watching a trend, and every little band-aid they do is not working.
I have a friend in Cyprus, and several years ago, she said that they did not a bailout, but they did a bail-in. And they went into all their 401k, their retirement funds, and they stripped all that money out of there. And she was very depressed. I mean, I remember her calling me, and she's just, I don't know what I'm going to do. I worked my whole life in the bank system for this, and they took all the money out. She said, I've got nothing. Yeah, she's just retired a year prior, and her retirement fund was wiped out. And they're talking now that the banks here have the ability to seize our assets, our deposits in the bank, for a bail-in. And some people are saying that's going to happen real soon. Like, whoa, really? Yeah. Eye-opening.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. So I would think, I look for markers, and I think Germany may be a key marker of things to come. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, it always starts somewhere, right? Before it rumbles here, we start to see it out there. Let's get ready to rumble. Yeah. So what happened yesterday on Super Tuesday? Was it really that super? Was that amazing? What was going on there?
Stupid Tuesday. That's what it was. Um, it's an interesting situation, isn't it? Well, congratulations to Nikki for winning Vermont and dropping out the same night. That was that was epic. It's like we won. I quit. That's the worst speech ever.
Uh, I
And
don't
now,
think she actually had a speech last night. I think she just balked on the whole thing. But there was
yeah,
signs that she was going to quit because all her campaign stops had been canceled. They
right.
stopped selling tickets to it earlier this week, and she removed a lot of her ad buys too. She canceled all the ad buys, so it was kind of clear it was over.
Well, and if your theory is correct, doesn't she get to keep the rest of the money?
Yep, she gets to keep the rest of the money.
That's madness.
Yep.
Just the fact that we could even have that in our system is just madness.
Well, how would you give it all
Amazing.
back, right? You don't know where it all comes from. You're supposed to know, but
Well,
a reality is you don't know where it's coming from.
maybe have a charity, or if you believe in parties, which I don't, give it to your party. You know what I mean? It's just it's madness that the candidate gets to keep it. But
Yeah.
whatever. Everything is a profit center in politics. That's a fact.
Well,
But
that's one of the big challenges of politics is the money that's in it, and there's so much money. It's you look at McConnell, it's like what? How did he flip? He's an upside down turtle, right? It's just like anything for the Democrats he'll do. Why? Because it benefits him. He doesn't care about the parties. He doesn't care about the
no,
party he supposedly represents. It's what's
no.
best for him.
As they say, gonna get paid.
Yep,
That's all they care about.
yep.
It's
Show me the
it.
money.
Yep, it's madness. It
So
is
this is a part
absolute.
of Trump's victory speech. I was kind of shocking that story yesterday. He said 325,000. I heard 320,000, but no matter, the number is massive. Where they actually flew them from South America way over the border and then directly into cities all around the country in the middle of the night for the most part. These planes landed at 2, 3, and 4 in the morning where nobody would see them. Usually the airports are really quiet around that time because who's taking off at that hour?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's why I wasn't too shocked, because when researching the movie Cages, for you that don't know, is here on this channel. When researching that, um, it was known that there was an airport in Mesa where Ducey somehow got it to get rid of the regulations so they don't have to go through customs. And so there was the first airport that was done. So there was, and it's starting to believe, Robert, that all the cabal does is they always have precedents. They do a test somewhere,
Yep.
right, to see how that works. So it it's not too shocking for me that the next step is just we'll just fly them everywhere now. Why not? We already have precedents. It's disgusting, and of course, it's under the cover of darkness every single time.
Yeah, what was shocking to me is not that they were flying them in, because I've heard the stories of the little airports in Long Island where these people were showing up. I think LaGuardia had some as well, pretty large airport there. They were flying in at 3, 4 in the morning, these planes full of these migrants. So we're hearing that, but you never knew the number. Now you hear the number of 325,000 people. That's more than 250,000 people flown in. That you're not counting. You see the border numbers. You can add on top of that, and it's probably more. That's probably what we know about or what we're being told. But my guess is it's probably a lot higher than that.
And the question is, are these higher value prospects that they're flying in?
Yeah.
Pretty scary to think about that.
Well, this next story kind of sheds some light on exactly that question. Look at this from Daily Mail. Chinese snakehead gangs are for the first time ever working with violent Mexican drug cartels to transport migrants into the United States.
Well, Sean Wilson told us that before the story even came out.
Yeah, yeah. And you notice Donald Trump did not mention New Mexico. He mentioned
Again,
Arizona, California, but New Mexico again is in the dark. We don't
again,
say anything about it.
why is that, I wonder?
That's
Because
really
there's a lot
curious.
coming into New Mexico. It's really weird. Everybody's avoiding it like a plague.
Yep, yep. So this is from the Daily Mail. The sudden rush of Chinese migrants on the U.S. border has baffled Americans asking why they are coming in. How in the world are they getting here? Now it can be revealed for the first time that some are being aided by Chinese gang as known as the Snakeheads, who are operating in synchrony with the Mexican cartels. Known for their brutal people smuggling tactics, the Snakeheads, what a name, huh? Have long ferried migrants into unsuspecting nations around the world. Now Daily Mail can reveal that they are working to secure entry to the U.S. for thousands of Chinese nationals. First, the Chinese secure their route through a smuggler, paying thousands to fly from their native country to Mexico or other Central American cities. Then they are shown the way across the border by one of the gangs. Others are arriving legally after using the controversial CBP One app that has been used by 320,000 to fly in after claiming asylum from their home countries. So this is the 320 that are being flown in. They're using the CBP One app. So we're facilitating it. We even have the app to help them get in. Some of those who came into the country legally via the app were observed by Daily Mail in San Diego last week. They were greeted by boorish taxi drivers who refused to discuss the arrangements and how they are hired. When approached, the drivers snarled and refused questions. San Diego. Then they took payments of between $1,000 and $1,500 per person for the cramped 3-hour ride to wherever they were bringing them to. Whoa.
People are asking why you're calling them migrants and not illegals. I think the answer is you're just reading an actual.
I'm reading a story. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So what I just want to clear it up for people.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Robert knows who they are.
Illegal migrants. Let's just add the two words together and we got a clear picture.
I call them illegal immigrants, so we're close. But they are illegal, and I think it is important to make that designation, because then do we really want to soften it? You know what I mean? So
let's dig into that a little bit, because you have the CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, One app that's allowing them from their country to download the app, apply for asylum, and fly in here uncontested. So is it illegal? They're on the app. They're doing what they're asked to do.
Well, they're illegally in the country. It doesn't matter what an app from someplace outside the country.
Well, they're being let in. So now the question is, okay, if the Border Patrol is not following the law, right? They're not necessarily breaking it, because it's a little bit like the Capitol, right? On January 6th, these people didn't break the law. The police invited them in. Capitol Police said, come on in. It's nice and warm in here. And then they all got charged.
Yeah, I think you make a good point in regards to this thing. But they're still illegally in the country.
Correct. If you follow our law, yeah, exactly.
Right. But they're being enticed. Well, they're for sure at minimum being enticed. Here they're being, it's like laying out the red carpet for them.
Yeah, they even give them the app and the directions on how to get here. First flight to Mexico. Take a left.
You know what we'll do then? Let's use this precedence to get all the J6ers off.
Oh, I like that idea.
Right?
I like that idea. Yeah, because they didn't do anything, illegal. If they were invited in by the people who are there to protect that building, how are you breaking the law?
Yep, there you go. So the J6ers, you know what they need to do? J6ers should just call themselves migrants, and then I think everything will be good to go.
Oh, they'll be let out and they'll be given money and food and shelter.
Absolutely, they'll get everything, and they'll be able to vote.
Yeah. Can't make it up. You just can't make it up.
Yeah, it's maddening.
One more crazy Nikki story, and then we can put her to bed.
Sure.
All right. So she spent more than $114 million only to win Vermont and Washington, D.C.
Such a deal. Yeah, and D.C. was a lock. So
yeah, exactly.
That doesn't matter.
$114 million. 114. That's a chunk of money.
Now, if is Vermont a crossover state though?
Yep.
Where the Democrats can vote in,
and they voted for her, is why she won that.
Right, exactly. So that's what's important to point out. It's not a legit win. It's an anti-Trump Democrat push Nikki over the top there.
Hey, Rush Limbaugh did that in what, 2016? He said, "Go vote
No.
for Hillary, so she becomes a nominee because she's easier to beat."
Oh, right,
Remember, he
right.
played that game
Yeah,
too.
that's right.
Good old Rush. We missed the man. He was good. He understood. He understood this game probably better than anybody.
Yeah. The problem is that it can be a game,
It
and
is.
games can be gamed.
Yep.
And that's why the whole election system, we shouldn't even talk about integrity. It just needs to be completely reformed.
Well, there is
There's
no integrity in it. I think
not
that's
not
the
without
truth of it.
not without reform, you can't have integrity.
Correct.
It just there's so many loopholes in the way it's set up
Well, I
in
think
every
that,
state
Lewis,
is
that goes
different.
back to the feeling that nothing's happening because it's like, okay, we're still getting mail-in ballots. We're still counting our votes on Dominion tabulators, which we know they're all
Mhm.
connected to the internet. We know Seidel's involved. We know there are other companies outside of this country actually dealing and handling our election data. It's like, well, we knew all this in 2020. We knew all this in 2016. Here we are in 2024, and we've not won a case against any of these companies. So I think that's where people are just getting frustrated. Like, okay, so how is it supposed to work in November then? Right?
Right.
I don't have an
Well,
answer.
first,
I'm asking the question rhetorically because I don't have the
no,
answer.
there is not an answer. The only way that we're going to win is by overwhelming the system. That is it.
Right.
Where it's just too, there's no other way to do it. We just have to overwhelm. It has to be at like a 70-30 margin, and that's
And
the only way.
and and
If we
next
even have an election, by the
right.
way.
And next to that is when they reinstall do not accept that and we need to be in the streets about that and not give up and not worry
Absolutely.
about, what happened on January 6th. There needs to be millions of us out in the street not accepting it. I mean, we kind of accepted the 2020, I think, a little too soft. It
Oh, we
was very
did. Yeah.
clear. I mean, your eyesight could tell you that he did not win with the most votes of any president in the history of the United States. There's no way. There was zero popularity there. And we bought
Right.
it. Too many of us bought it. Not enough of us pushed back. And we kind of relied on, oh, the courts will reverse it, the Supreme Court. And all of those cases were tossed out. They didn't even
Well,
hear
that's the
them.
thing. And yeah, exactly. They didn't even hear them
Right.
because they were tossed out for
Standing.
some, well, most of them were tossed out on standing, or they found a little hole in it, or there was something wrong with the case, supposedly. What's interesting is how fast the conservatives got gaslit by the left, and the Trump supporters got gaslit by the left. They're like, well, we keep losing all these court cases. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. This is what I keep saying to people. If you were not playing games on your phone all the time, hey, I play games on my phone, by the way, so I'm not immune to that. If you were not playing them all the time and you were not watching Survivor or Jersey Shores or any of your favorite TV shows, maybe you would have said, hey, let's dig into this and find out, well, they're tossed out on standing. This is consistent. Oh, there's a cabal thing here, right? Let's go get them. But they didn't.
Yep.
Most Trump supporters, and I'm just not to make you mad, most Trump supporters were like, oh well, that's really bad. We'll get them next time. And I'll tell you what, if we have an election in 2024 and it's stolen, and one person says we'll get them next time, I'll probably knock them out
Well, we
because
put
there
up
is
a
no next
front on
time.
January 6th. 2 million people showed up. That was the biggest gathering of Americans, I think, in the history of the country. It's the biggest one ever, right?
Yep.
So you had 2 million, roughly, people there, and they successfully were quashed with this fake riot, right? And they put, 1,500 of them, I think, been charged. And that was the end. That fear has kept our side from doing anything.
Mhm.
And I mean, it just, you and I had this conversation many times that I couldn't believe that Biden is still there. And I said, there's no way he's going to, get through his entire term. I thought 6 weeks, 6 months, he'd be gone. And here we are looking at, wow, 2024, just a few months away, and he's still there. What in the heck is going on here? Right?
Well, and the left really sold the J6 psyop
Oh,
too,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
because I'm a numbers guy. So you would think that if if they can successfully convince America that whatever you do, don't go protest and don't stand up because you're going to get arrested, you would think they would have had to arrest at least 10% of the people there. Okay, let me put this in perspective. If they arrested 10% of the people, that would have been 200,000 people.
Right.
Well, that didn't happen.
That didn't
okay,
happen.
well, maybe they arrested 1% of the people, right? And that
Yep.
would be 20,000. Oh, well, gee, that didn't happen. You mean 1/10 of 1%, 2,000 people? Oh, no, not even that. So less than 1/10 of 1% got charged, not even arrested, got charged. Yet everybody, by the way, folks, that's 1 in 1,000.
Right.
Everybody freaked out. Oh, no, we can't protest anymore. They're going to come get us, the boogeyman. Guys,
Yep.
you guys were sold something that's not even close to being true. Think of those numbers. Less than 1 in 1,000 got charged. You're really saying you can't protest? You're really not willing to take a chance and be part of the 999 out of 1,000? Come on.
And the other thing, too, is a lot of the protests that we would do would be outside of D.C., so the rules are very different. We actually have standing
Totally
to protest there.
Well, yet you have due process, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. You have due process, which doesn't exist in D.C. And some states try to there's a couple of counties in Florida that try to avoid due process and so on and so forth, but they're not rampant. In most places you have due process.
Right.
This would have never, ever happened.
So Raytheon is in the news today. They lowered the flag to half staff after Nikki Haley drops out of the race.
That's got to be Babylon B.
That is Babylon B for sure.
Okay. I can't see it on my screen, but I would assume that's what it is.
That's the Babylon B. It's very funny. The implication there being that, she's a war hawk, and Raytheon, being a defense contractor, stood to lose a lot of money if she dropped out of the race. And sure enough, that she's out. They said, like, oh, we're going to put yeah. Okay, good. There we go. All right. So our buddy Mike Johnson is in the news again. He's in the crosshairs because of what? Friday, there's going to be a what now? What are they doing Friday? Shut it down, baby.
Yeah, of course. We're going to shut it down.
He doesn't want to shut it
down. In Israel, we're going to shut it down.
He's going to go along to get along. You know how this works, Lewis. This is not anything, important. This is just what he's doing. I got to turn off this beeping here so I don't have it.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's amazing. I said, watch out when Mike Johnson got unanimous.
That didn't make any sense. That does not happen on the Republican side. You never have unanimous anything.
Nope. That's red flag city for me.
Yep.
So, and then of course, one of the first things he said is, we're going to fund Ukraine. I'm like, okay, now here we go.
So you had firebrands. You had Jim Jordan. You had MTG. You had Gates. You had is Gates a senator? No, Gates is Congress, right? Yeah, he's Congress.
Yep, Congress.
Yeah. And so you had some people that would have really done our bidding, literally. And this is what we ended up with. And it's like, he's caved on anything that's meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
He's caved. And now we've got this omnibus that he's trying to pass, and he's trying to pass it off as, we're just going to, we're going to get a little bit of a cut here, a little bit of a cut there. They're going to cut like 7% of the FBI's budget. And that's not a cut, by the way. They were going to get 20%. They're going to take 7% off. Yeah. They're still getting an increase in their budget.
Well, that's the game. That's the game. That's the game they always play. It's the same game they play at your big box stores. Big sale. Oh, wait, before the big sale, let's increase our prices 20%, right?
And we can drop them 20%, and you'll think you're getting a deal.
What a deal. It's a game. It's all a game, you guys. There's a bunch of actors playing games. I hope everybody knows that.
I was having that conversation with my brother this morning because he was telling me, I can't believe this. I'm like, well, this is politics. This is all about the money. This is all about the influence. He says, I don't get it. You get people that go up there and they've got the right attitude, and all of a sudden they turn. I'm like, yeah, they're brought into a little meeting and they're said, this is the way you're going to do it. And if you don't do it this way, you will not get funding for your reelection campaign and you will lose. So they're like, well, I either go along or I'm out.
and worse.
Yeah.
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 So you know, I think we need to get a little bit back into basic math again, right? Because if I'm wrong, when you have an increase and then you cut part of that increase, your
Still an
net is
increase.
still an increase.
Yep.
Am I wrong?
Yep. No, you're not.
Okay. So if you have a $20 increase and we take $7 away, you still have a $13 increase. I just want to make sure my math is correct here, right? But isn't it the politicians are always talking there was a cut. It's never a cut. It's always a cut on an increase.
Right.
It's the game they played for 50 years and we just yay, we buy it, yay. They cut it. Yay, they're taking more of my taxes. It's so fun. When do we stand up and say enough is enough?
Well, this is the question, Lewis, right? Everyone has this same question is where are the levers of power that we have access to? It was the vote. We no longer have that. And we were stuck in, well, where do we go with it all? Right? So we're still stuck in that. We're still mired in that same game and we haven't quite figured it out yet. And that's where the energy needs to be. We need to figure out where the levers of power are for us. Otherwise, you say take action. Well, okay.
Well, we actually know what the levers are power, and it's the redress of grievances. The challenge that we have is people putting the energy behind it to get it done and being organized properly. And that's what we're going to be doing with Remember Your Oath, is hoping organize people properly, focused to redress our grievances. And the challenge is they were so scattered and everybody's just complaining and, well, I'll stand up in front of wherever to okay, what are you going to say? Well, I don't know what I'm going to say. What do you want them to redress? I don't know exactly, but it's just wrong, right? So we need to get more organized. You guys, the deep state, let's take a segment of the deep state, the Democrats, right? I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings if you don't like Democrats, but the Democrats are highly intelligent, very organized, extremely calculated, and very patient.
Yep.
And that's why they've been kicking your ass for 50 years. And same with the rhinos are exactly the same as the Democrats, right? So they're very organized, they're very intelligent, they're very calculated, they have a game plan, and they're very patient. You know what us patriots have? Passion.
Yep.
And good memes.
Mm-hmm. Good memes, very good memes.
Yep.
So we're looking at Maricopa County, the Board of Supervisors, right? And we're looking for that to be ostensibly a model that can be cookie cuttered to other states.
Not ready yet.
Not ready yet.
Nope,
but
not ready yet.
But moving forward, are there any updates you can share?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
In fact, I'm doing exactly the opposite. We need to keep our game plan under wraps until it's rolled out.
Right.
Because the deep state is highly involved in Maricopa County now, highly targeting anybody that's involved. I got a phone call while we were here from somebody. I was shocked to see that name pop up on the phone while we were on air here. So they're coming out in force against anybody right now working in Maricopa County. So we have to keep it close to the vest. But there's strategies in play. I'm hoping it's a big team there, big bunch of patriots. I'm going to give my input, my suggestions. Some of them they're already taking. We'll see if they take the big couple that I'm suggesting. If they do, great. If not, I work on other counties also. But it's very important as of now that we position ourselves properly and patiently. So everything I just mentioned, I will tell you this, is what I'm trying to help them implement. And I'll be working on other counties to do the exact
right. So
same.
Get organized, be ready, get the timing right, get the right people in place at the right time.
Be
I mean, the
smart.
things the other side does, yeah.
Yeah. Project
Mm-hmm.
what could possibly happen. So you have plan B, C, and D. Always have a backup plan, do a backup plan, do a backup plan, so on and so forth. Right.
Yep.
So we're not going to be premature on anything, which I feel that was the last time.
Okay. Good. We'll look forward to getting some updates there. I wanted to share this. This is kind of interesting. I'll read it because it's probably too small to read. This one here is the swamp bill, right? This is part one. More illegals, less freedom is basically what they're doing. So the House GOP has bills and it defunds sanctuary cities, refusing to report criminal illegals, right? That's one thing that it'll do. I can't even read it on that screen. It's very small. Prohibits the DOJ from giving lawyers to illegals and rubber stamping immigration cases. So if you look at the bill on the right side, it doesn't do any of those things, but those are the things the GOP has wanted. So that's quite the list there. And again, it's like, will Mike Johnson stand up or will he just rubber stamp this thing and push this thing through? We will know Friday, won't we?
Well, we're going to see, right?
Yeah, and if he does push this through, it's like all hell needs to break loose over there because you just can't keep doing this. Now, one of the things that's in that bill is to continue to fund, I can't believe this, continue to fund Jack Smith's trial against Trump. They're not removing the money.
How's that even possible?
How could he even consider funding that? I mean, what's wrong with you? Don't you read this before you go ahead and start promoting it? So at that level,
Nancy
Lewis,
Pelosi set precedence on that. You don't read anything anymore.
Yeah. Well, you wonder if he's had a little talking to and he's been threatened and it doesn't make sense that someone who is an actual conservative who claims to be a Trump supporter would sign a bill that continues funding the witch hunt against Trump.
All right. So let's address that. Let's address something you said he had a talking to, and I think that's a great question. So I had a conversation. I've had conversations with several representatives. I've had a conversation with one state representative. And this state representative was a total we the people person. And they had, within their first couple of days, a strong talking to. You need to do things our way, pretty much, or we're coming after you. And we will not accept any dissent. Within days from an election, powers that be came and talked to this representative and say, this is the way it's going to be, or else. Is there anything else needed said? Of course, it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Every single representative, I would say, in virtually every state probably has this talking to.
Yep. Certainly seems that way because we see them go up there with good intentions and they campaign and you say, oh, this is an honest, this is an ethical, this is a transparent person. We definitely want them in power. We put them in power for whatever value our elections have. And they get up there and they're flipped, like you said, within days. It starts going the other direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. See it all the time. So and when they say we're coming after you, they mean we'll compromise you. We already have dirt on you. Or in the case of another representative, they will literally find a way to push you out. And suddenly all the conservatives are about to get you eliminated too. How does that work? Right? It's all of one big, huge, deep state.
Exactly. Yep.
In fact, I'm going to tag back onto something you said earlier. Sorry to go on a rant, but this is very interesting. Right, we keep saying party. We're in these primaries. It's the Democrat Party. It's the Republican Party, folks. That Freemason division is why we are here today. There's a super simple solution. Let's say you want to run for president. Get 100,000 signatures. 100,000 signatures put you on the ballot. Everybody runs, right? You take the top 2 or 3, and then you have a runoff. And then in essence they run again. That's it. You don't need primaries. You don't need caucuses. If you do that, it's hard. It's going to be harder to manipulate the elections. It'll all be paper ballots. It's going to be hard to pay anybody off to do anything because it's not. You're not looking for delegates. You're not looking for anything. Right? It's a very, very simple process. Guess what? None of them can claim party. Not one of them. So you need to learn, oh my Lord, we're going to have to do a little work. You need to learn who you're voting for,
Yep.
Right? And what their value set is, if they're a person of their word, and then you place your vote. No party whatsoever. That will force people to do their due diligence before they vote. That's just one little teeny change that we can make.
Yeah. And the paper
And we,
ballots would be a big thing too, because you actually do want a physical paper trail. You do not want a digital paper trail because that can be changed. That can be altered.
absolutely.
And it can be
Yep.
altered without any trace of it being altered. Right?
Scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And we heard a lot of the stories yesterday, people going to vote. "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Herms, you've already cast your ballot." Say what? We've heard a lot of that kind of thing going on. And, I gather that's why they're force registering everybody here in California for that same reason, is because they just need those names on there. They don't really care whether or not they vote. They'll add a vote to them if they didn't vote, right? They just need those voter rolls filled up with names, and they can make them vote for whoever they want at that point. So it feels to me like the fix is already in here in California. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I am not feeling confident. How about you?
No, the fix is in. The,
Yeah.
the question is, can we outvote the fix, or do we have the elements in place to expose it in real time? And I think that's what it's going to take. And do we have the will to fight it when it happens?
I don't believe we're going to be able to expose it all. We're going to expose some
Oh,
parts
of
of it.
course not.
And the question will be, do we have the will to stand against it and
Right.
not let it go through as we did the last time?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Hey, real quick in chat, our wonderful admin, Master Baggy, he was been unsubscribed, so that get from Rumble, so that gives you an idea, folks. They daily seem to be unsubscribing people from our Rumble channels, not just mine, Robert's, and a lot of other people. So you have to go back in. Unfortunately, check your subscription. If you're unsubscribed, you have to go resubscribe
Yep.
to the channel. We
Yep.
apologize for that, but that's just the way it's working, guys. We have to keep fighting.
Not sure why it does it or how it does it. Yeah, Master Baggy was a paying customer here too. He was paying, and his, chat messages would always show up in red. Now
That's right.
he's been kicked off completely, which is really weird. Crazy.
Amazing.
All right, let's talk about this little feller.
Who is that
What's
guy?
going on with him? Hey, Thumper, how you doing there, Mr. Thumper? Yeah, he kind of rules the house these days. I think that's the way it is. When you have a dog, kind of man's best friend. When you have a cat, you're just staff. It's kind of the other way around. It's like, yeah, I get fed now. This guy's doing really well. It's incredible to see how quickly he changed so much after just starting feeding him better food. And we're talking about Pet Club 24/7. Food is amazing. It actually includes a mushroom element to it that removes a lot of the parasitical things that go on inside our bodies, both human and animal, I should say, that they went through.
Yeah, I have some great stories about the dogs. I'm not going to go into it too much today, but I'll just say my dogs are happy as heck, and as healthy as they possibly can be. I am very, very excited. And we love the pet food and the mushrooms and stuff. And the animals love the mushrooms. They get a little psychedelic hit from it also. I actually heard one of my dogs say, "I'm seeing colors and streaks." Um,
Oh, you're not
but
serious now, are you?
no, no, no. It's interesting you say those. My wife and I have figured out that this is the pets are kind of a Freemason thing, and I'm sorry to say this, right? It's an inversion. We are not their masters. The pets are our masters, right? Because I'm sorry, not one of my pets clean my poop up, right?
That's right.
Not one of them feed me. They don't tuck me in at night. They don't go grocery shopping for me, right? They don't brush me, nothing. So clearly we've had this thing all along. It's somehow the Freemason edict is these are our pets and the masters are reverse. Oh, it's opposite. Hey, look at our live viewers just dropped down to 1. There's nothing going on Rumble.
And Master Baggy rejoined
Nothing.
us as a supporter. Thank you, Master Baggy.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
nothing happened. So
Yeah.
our live viewers are 1.
Wow. It's 0785 here, so we're still showing the right number on my side.
Oh my
Go
Lord, this
figure.
is hilarious.
Yes, if you want to get access to the pet food, the link is in the description of these videos. Depending on which channel you're on, it'll be a little bit of a different link. And not only you're helping your pets, but you're also helping support our channel, which allows us to continue doing what we do here for you each and every day.
Craziness.
Craziness. All right. We have
Edward, thank you for becoming a monthly supporter. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. This video has no audio and it doesn't need it. So we're going to look at this for a minute. This is the Texas Panhandle. And I want you to think about when you're watching this little clip, it's just a few seconds. When you're watching, So that's what I wanted to bring to your attention, because this is the Panhandle in Texas. And I brought this still image from that video up. And I don't know about you, Lewis. Maybe my eyesight's really bad. But I don't see any forest. I don't see any greenery. I don't see any grass. I see dirt. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah. Yeah. How do these brush fires start when it's only dirt?
Yeah.
And how do they continue?
Yeah. Yeah. So this, they're saying, our conspiracy-minded people are saying this is a direct energy weapon attack, lasers, right? And this is in retaliation because Texas is doing what? They're defending the border.
That's right.
Ooh, they're going against the cabal, so they're being attacked. There are stories of farmers saying their cows were quote unquote vaporized. Abbott was out yesterday saying he'd never seen buildings destroyed in a wildfire like this, where there's absolutely nothing left. Normally, you know, the side of the building's burned, it burns a little bit. Yeah.
Sometimes just the roof and there's a shell left around it.
Yep. But we're looking at this and you're seeing their buildings that are completely demolished, completely gone. And it doesn't make any sense. And if you look at the video right at the beginning here, there's a blue shed.
I saw that. Untouched.
Untouched. I'm not saying, but maybe I should be saying. Maybe that means something.
Amazing.
What are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking that all these knuckleheads are just saying, let's just trust the plan, sit back and eat the popcorn. So this is part of the plan? Is this it? Is this part of the plan that we vaporize cows and burn down people's homes, and part of the plan? Is it part of the plan to have millions of people coming over the border? Or maybe we're in a war. Oh, go figure. And yes, we're doing some great things and we're moving the ball forward. And I think we, the people, are starting to get traction and we're going to win. All that stuff. But it bugs me. There's so many knuckleheads out there that are still saying, no, there's nothing happening at the border. I mean, are they paid to act like idiots? Because it's clearly happening at the border. I was there, you know, and I know many people that are there. I talk to people weekly, sometimes daily, and they're like, oh yeah, we just saw this many, here's some video. It's just crazy. So yeah, direct energy weapons are absolutely real. That's not hyperbole anymore. It's very clear what happened in Lahaina, and this looks pretty similar to me. I believe they tested out in Paradise originally, though. And they're successful, and then, you know, they moved over to Lahaina and now here. And I agree with you. And it's interesting though, because what did I just say at the beginning of this show with you, Robert? Mm-hmm. Is I said, even though the deep state could be falling, they have weapons that if we move the ball forward too fast, we being the good guys, right? Move the ball forward too fast, they will create destruction. Could this be exactly what you're saying, Robert? Could that tie into what my theory's been for years and years and years?
Well, I think the truth is, if we, forget about how fast you move the ball forward, if you move the ball forward enough and cross whatever line that they've drawn in the sand,
whatever line they have,
yeah, exactly. they're gonna flip all the switches on us, and that's probably why this is it's punch counter punch, and you got to be a little bit careful. And Texas is taking a stand, and they got severely punished. 1 million+ acres of non-forest land burned, and dirt around the houses, and the houses are burning. Just like in Lahaina, we saw cars in the middle of vacant fields with no grass, nothing growing anywhere. And they say it's a forest fire. Well, really, how'd that car melt down then? Not make any sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat has a legitimate comment. They said they're in Chandler, Arizona, and they're not seeing more illegals than normal. I get it. So go to Sassabee, go to, I think it's Lukeville. I believe that's the name of it. And there's two other cities near there.
Yuma.
And then go to the Border Patrol. I think it's about 40 miles north of Sassabee, and just go there and talk to them, and they'll show you the unprecedented amount of people that they are processing. And then you add in all the ones that are being flown.
Now remember, they're not going to let them pile up. We always think we're going to see big groups of them. They're deliberately not allowing that. They are deliberately putting on buses or planes and dispersing them as quickly as possible. They call it the ant theory.
That's right. And they can't do that fast enough. So when I was in Sassabee, right on the border, right, they had over 200 fighting age males that were still sleeping on our side of the border. They were there for 3 days, only because they couldn't pick them up fast enough.
Yeah.
They're waiting for a bus, and they have some type of organization, like an agreement with inside the group, that, hey, okay, you guys go first, and you're next, and you're next, and then you're next. So it's a very organized deal. First thing they do is they pick up the women and children, which is scary in itself to me, because we don't know exactly where they're going.
Right.
And they don't document the children because the children don't have a real last name. It's all fake. So it's really scary. And then they send them to another city. So, I get that you may not be seeing them in Chandler or some other places, but it's happening. Just go to Sassabee, go to Lukeville. Yeah. And you'll see tons of people crossing.
You're seeing them on the street corners in some of the larger metropolitan areas too. They were showing video in Chicago, and there's like 20, 30 of them on every corner now, and it's like you can't miss them. But what you're not seeing is groups of thousands, because they will not allow that. Because when that happened in Eagle Pass, the first time it happened under that bridge, and then again more recently it happened again. It's just like, this is not what we want. This is bad optics. So they're doing everything they can to make that not happen.
Interesting. Yep.
Should we play the Tim Tebow clip? You have a comment on that, I'm sure.
I think let's pay attention to this, because maybe there are some good people out there, and I know you guys right away will probably have all this evidence on Tebow, whatever. That's cool. Let's listen to this, because it feels like he's doing something. At least he feels vulnerable, which I think is important.
This is important because we judge people sometimes by their past, and we have to stop that. And at this time, I think it's important to judge them by what they're doing currently, because people can judge.
Having me, and God bless.
So, I feel that's real. I feel he means it. He's trying to do what he can. I know he has an organization that he's been working on it. But in addition to that, let's put this in perspective for people to understand. For you that don't know, Tim Tebow was I believe he was a national champion. I believe it was Florida or Florida State. Somebody will correct me. I'm sure. I don't think that's that important. And then he went on to play in the NFL. And everywhere he went, he was a second stringer. And what would happen is the teams that he was playing for actually fired him or traded him, released him, because he was getting more attention than their first string quarterback, the one that they need to market. They're very, very, very upset about that, some of these teams. So he ended up in Denver. He ended up getting on the field. Denver had no way of making the playoffs unless they won a bunch of games, right? Tim Tebow took them to 7 straight games winning. Like these last second drives on his back. All his players said he just put us on his back. 7 straight games. Made the playoffs, and yet the next year and the years after that, he couldn't even find a job.
Interesting.
So it's either one of two things. he's not listening to them, right? And he was exposing the cabal, or he was doing what he did. He would openly pray on the field, which they hated. So he showed his love for God on the field, which they hated. So it could have been the combination of both. But that tells you who Tim Tebow was, in my opinion. There, the fact that he was isolated and pushed out of the league after having that massive success is just ridiculous. So I would say, based on the evidence that I see, he seems legit.
Well, the message is correct too. I mean, the message is we can't be sitting on the sidelines as so many of us are, and I think there's a lot of us that would not be if we had an organization or a plan. And here's your piece, Joe. Here's your piece, Lewis. Here's your piece, Sam. Here's your piece, right? And we knew what to do. And like you said, we're just not organized on this side. We've got a lot of passion, certainly. We're just missing that little piece, that organizational piece.
Yeah.
To put it all together and focus it, that focus energy is what makes the difference. You can't push 50 snowballs up a hill, but you can certainly push one.
Absolutely. That's what we were trying to teach.
Yep. Sorry for the snow reference of a man who grew up in the snow country.
I grew up in the no country.
No country. Yeah, you're a California boy. What can I tell you?
Exactly.
Hochul deploys 1,000 National Guard and police to patrol New York City subways because it's gotten what? A little violent. Why?
That's right.
Because they're a sanctuary city. And they invited all the illegals in. The illegal migrants. And now they've got massive problems. Safety, security, chasing businesses away, chasing people away. Oh boy. So she's referring to multiple recent high-profile assaults on the police, especially, as she made the announcement. The brazen, heinous attacks on our subway system will not be tolerated. Now she's talking tough here. Hochul said the program will focus on repeat offenders, deterring crime, and protecting the people in our subways. Good luck with that. Hochul said bag checks will be conducted by officers and soldiers in the city's busiest stations to ensure that weapons are not being brought in. Now, let's refresh your memory here. Who did that? Who brought that policy on board? Stop and frisk. Who did that?
That's right. Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani. Yeah, he dropped crime in New York City dramatically when he put the police and gave them the ability to stop and frisk anybody at any time.
That's right.
Yeah, let's see what's in your bag. Let's see what's in your backpack. So now she's bringing it back. It's kind of funny. It's like, now she's going to get credit for it. The plan includes 750 National Guard members and 250 state police officers and Mass Transit Authority, or MTA police, who will be deployed to the subway system. As a guy who grew up in that area, there's a lot of crime in them there subways.
Yeah, there's a lot of crime in there subways. Interesting enough, if you didn't say it was Hochul and you didn't say where, I would have automatically assumed that this was a conservative politician.
You think, huh?
Because, yeah, it's pretty interesting that you would deploy the National Guard to take care of business and then implement stop and frisk. It's very interesting. So desperate times are desperate measures.
Yeah.
And they always, it's historically, these liberals roll out these ridiculous policies. And when they let it go way past where it should. And when it gets too much to handle, they become the hero and implement some conservative policy that was in place before. This is not an anomaly. This happens in virtually every big city in the United States. So it's pretty crazy. And this is just a CYA moment because she's probably getting so much heat, right? And,
Yep. And
or considering she's part of the coven, is it just another spell casting moment? I don't know. We'll see.
Well, 1,000, there's only 750 National Guard members. Will they be armed? Will they be uniformed? Will they be undercover? Right? There's a lot of questions that really aren't answered in this press conference.
Or will they all just have their phones? Hey, there's a bad guy here. He's on subway number 134 and heading north.
That's right. He's on the D train.
Hey.
Look at this pretty lady. What a difference a year makes, huh? makeup in February 2023, no makeup in February of 2024, and she's had a really, really stressful year. So this
Yes,
is
yes.
Christine Geiger. She works with us. She is on our team. She helps us with booking guests and a lot of stuff in the back end. She really does a great job for us. But she shared this photo on the Neumi site on Facebook just to show you what a difference this stuff makes. So Lewis and I want to look as good as Christine, so we got our bottles here, and we go spray and spray and spray, and you know what? I just don't look as good as her just yet. I think I need to spray a little more.
This is my wife's favorite part of the show. She's always stopping me and spraying Neumi on my face.
So
Thank
this
you,
is a
honey.
glutathione product, a nanoparticle glutathione. And don't get scared by the nanoparticle, because we know we talk about that with things that are unhealthy, but this is actually
Not
healthy.
a nanobot. Yes, it's not a nanobot.
It's a nanoparticle. Just really small particles of glutathione, and you spray it on your skin, and it will reduce wrinkles. It'll lighten your skin. It'll get rid of a lot of liver spots and things like that, and you look younger and brighter. And you know, you can do away with a lot of the makeup. You don't have to use quite as much, or maybe in some cases, as Christine does, not at all. And it doesn't matter. And Christine's a hairdresser, by the way, so she's in that industry. So she understands, you know, what looking good looks like. And then there is the NutraSwish product, which is the one that you take internally. A couple of capfuls in your mouth, swish it around. It gets absorbed sublingually under the tongue, goes right into your bloodstream. And this is glutathione and turmeric. Now, why turmeric? Because it reduces inflammation. Why do you have those aches and pains? Most often it is inflammation, and this helps with that. Also helps you detox and deal with oxidative stress, and gives you more energy, helps you sleep better, helps you recover faster after a lot of physical exertion. And then we've got the Herms product, Neumi Herms. This is for the ladies. Guys, this is not for you, but buy it for your ladies. Trust me, you'll know why. Helps with that time of the month and those mood swings and all the rest of that. And certainly the menopausal time when there's hot flashes. This has been known to really stop the hot flashes in their tracks, and it does a really great job of that. Helps with libido, helps with energy, helps you sleep better, does a lot of cool things. So the link for Neumi is in the description of the video. Depending on the channel you're watching us on, there'll be a different link for each channel. And we thank Neumi. And we thank you, because when you do order with our links, you do support our show and our efforts here. We feel like we're actually making a difference. So you're doing something good for yourself, and you're also doing something good for us, and we're putting the word out and helping humanity. So it's a full circle thing, makes us feel really good. So we thank you for that.
There's two questions about it in chat. Great questions, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
First, do you spit out the NutraSwiss or swallow it? You swallow it, because you actually will subliminally enter through your intestines.
Sublingually, not subliminally.
I thought I said it right this time. Thanks, Mom, for correcting me again. On live, national, don't worry about it.
Look at the bottle. You'll get it. It's going to come in subliminally. Go right into your system.
You doing it. Sublingually. So anyways, so it'll absorb into your intestines also and go throughout your body before it gets your stomach acids. The other question was, can ladies use the regular Neumi? Absolutely, you should. The Herms, the benefit of the Herms is for the lady issues specifically.
Right.
So men, I wouldn't recommend that product.
No, except if you're buying it for your lady, then absolutely go buy a case. Real important to do. So I went on LinkedIn this morning, and that's what I saw. What's going on this week? I mean, really, what is going on with all the social media networks going down? What's planned? What's coming?
Yeah, I was wondering if there was some type of switchover going on. You know, like they're moving to different servers, maybe owned by other people. I don't know.
Facebook, maybe Instagram, LinkedIn today, YouTube. I mean, there's been a lot of failures, and all the same week. That doesn't happen. These systems are so robust, and they're also distributed. They're not all in one place. LinkedIn doesn't have one server. They have server farms all around the world, right? Mm-hmm. So for it to go down, even think about Amazon. When Amazon goes down, it's like, are you kidding me? They have servers in every state. You know? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So you're right. It could be somebody taking it over.
I don't know. It feels like that to me.
Yeah.
Now the question is, are the baddies just moving their systems to try to bunker down and keep them protected, getting closer to the election,
Hmm.
or have the good guys grabbed them?
Yep.
That's really the real question. But I believe they're probably moving systems or sending stuff somewhere. It's what it feels like. Because why would they all go down? And then Facebook went completely unsubscribe or took your password away and then re-logged you in automatically. That seems a little bit funky.
Doesn't make a lot of sense if you know how these systems work that you'd have these kind of issues. So, yeah. Maybe they're under attack. I don't know. Maybe the white hats are attacking them. It'd be hard to know. But, cyber war is going to be a big part of this. We know it. So expect these systems to go down. Now, the question you really need to be answering for yourself is, okay, and I had this conversation this morning with somebody. If the internet goes down, the cell system goes down, how are you going to reach your family members? Where will you all meet? Right? Because we rely so much on this technology. Imagine it not being there. Okay, if the internet goes down, everything goes down. We're meeting at 7 o'clock at Joe's house. You know what I mean? Or, come up with a plan, a contingency plan, because this may be the case for a little while. We may have these kind of outages. We're seeing more of them.
Well, I was just talking about somebody that's super, super connected today, and we were talking about we need to start telling people hunker down, get everything, get. Some of you may even need a bug out bag depending on where you are.
Right.
Get that set up. Make sure you have a way to get your water, all your supplies. So my wife and I were just having this conversation to make sure we're going to double check probably this weekend just to make sure we have everything. And she thinks we're light. I think we're close, but we'll figure it out to make sure we have everything we need to survive for a minimum of 3 months.
Yeah.
It's just smart to be set because look at it in a positive. If there is a big, huge transition in power from bad to good, from evil to good, there will probably be some major disruptions in power grids, food chains, and even water. So you should, even if you think it's all going to be great, I'd be set up to take care of your family.
Right.
And look, and we're not selling anything in regards to that, so it's true.
As I always say, there's no downside to being prepared. The downside is only when you're not prepared and you need it. So if you're prepared and you don't end up eating it, so what? You use the bottled water, you use the food, over time, no big deal. But it's better to have it than it reduces the worry, it reduces the fear when you've got a defensible space and you've got what you need to survive.
Yep.
All right, looking at the clock here, Lewis has an early out, so we're going to skip through a couple of things, and let's see here. Let's play this video.